You're listening to a Mash Those Buttons podcast. Visit mashthosebuttons.com for a full podcast schedule.
Cargo secured. Extraction complete. Intelligence System Analytic Computer is activated. All ISAC systems are confirmed online. Data scanned. Downloading files.
What's up, guys? You listen to episode 130 of SITREP Radio, giving you the news and other happenings in the world of the Division. This week, we get a new dev blog, and is there such thing as too much news? We're about to find out. But first, my name is Mike, and joining me as always, my co-hosts, Smooth Jazz Hemsley.
Hello.
And Luke.
Rob Luke, or just Luke?
Luke.
Hi.
I hope you guys and our listeners have had a great week, and welcome to any new listeners of the show. Luke, do you want to give the next one a quick shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to give a huge shout out to El Capitan, Mr. Captain Kevin, who's currently at Paris Games Week as a Division star player. Massive congratulations to you on earning that. And the three of us hope you have a great time this week, dude.
Agreed. Hope you have an awesome time, dude. All right, let's get down to some news.
State of the game.
Okay, so this will probably be a very quick episode as there's no state of the game this week. However, the next shield has been pushed from, was it the middle of November? They've pulled it back to the 8th.
Yeah, it's like
13th, wasn't it?
13th, 14th, something like that, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, so it's now coming out on the 8th of November, and that's the Fang shield, which means you have to complete every legendary mission on, guess what? Robert?
What?
Legendary.
Every legendary mission on legendary?
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. Every mission that has a legendary difficulty, you have to complete that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
On legendary.
On legendary.
Luke's got some fingers up.
7 of them.
Seven fingers, yes.
And that's not retroactive, I'm guessing.
I do not believe so, no.
So I feel sorry for anyone that's painstakingly done those and then now has to do them again.
They should have made it solo.
You've got till March to do it. Do one a week. Get an exotic cache every week for it. Because there's a shield for that as well.
Just bash them out on one night, isn't it?
Well, I mean, you could if you wanted to. Stretch that shit out a bit, Rob.
Nah. I still haven't done my survival one. I told you that's going to be my last one I do.
You should have done that when everybody was playing survival. You would have had a chance to actually get on the server with some other players.
Why would I do that?
Because then you might die to something other than a contaminated area.
I've done the extraction thing. All I've got to do is kill hunters and be in there for like 5 hours. So I can grind that out pretty easily. It's just getting to the end. And having more players in there at the end would just make that harder to do.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Just busting your balls a bit, dude. I haven't done last month's shield yet. The
Rebel.
Yeah, Resistance one. And I dread to think how many Mike's not done.
Yeah, I think we're on 3 now. Well, the one that the first one I'm behind on is probably the Commendation one. It's going to be this one, and
I don't think you'll get the Commendation one done, will you?
Don't know. I might do. We'll see.
That's a lot of playing.
Yeah, not being in your inventory stash.
All right, mate. Anyway, we did have some news in the form of a development blog that was released by the Division this week.
They called it Intelligence Annex. True Sons.
Take it away, Rob.
Oh, have I got to read now?
No,
Well,
there's no reading.
You don't have to.
Okay, I won't then.
I thought you were just taking over. I was
No, I just because you called it a devlog, but they've called it something else. Like last time it was actually called a devlog, wasn't it?
Yeah, but this is basically some. I guess, background
Lore?
into one of the factions that we are going to be seeing in the Division 2 and the lore behind, from what I can, read from it, one of the main characters that is going to be leading the True Sons, Colonel Antoine Ridgway. I think my only thought on the dev blog that we actually got is the fact that I know they had the UB Day. I know it sounds like something from Down Under, doesn't it? They had the presentation the other week where we'd be obviously learning about more factions soon. Now, I'm kind of thinking, are we going to get one of these a month where we learn about all the factions? Because the game's out in a couple of, it's like 4 months
140
away.
days, 20 weeks.
I think we need a few more dev blogs to make up for it. But I would have liked to seen, I suppose, more of the factions that
More
we would
about
see.
the stuff we don't know about rather than stuff we've already experienced.
Yeah, but the one thing I will say, one thing I was worried about last week was obviously story and lore. And if there was more stuff like this dev blog in the actual game, I will be very, very happy.
This kind of ties into, I think it was last week's episode, wasn't it, when we talked about lore being all over the place for the first game. They're already spreading it around for the second game because you've got, the lore for the True Sons hidden away in this Intelligence Annex, which is maybe or maybe not going to be in the game. There's the comic books coming out and everything else. So I'm getting the feeling now they're going to start spreading stuff out again like they did with the first game.
I hope not, because from what they've done in the dev blog where they're explaining that, this Colonel Antoine Ridgway was, they took
General.
one of the...
Not Colonel.
It says Colonel here.
Where does it say Colonel?
Second paragraph, third line down. Tick.
If you go even further, it says General.
I didn't. Well, either way, it doesn't matter. He's leading the True Sons, isn't he? But he's one of the original members of the JTF unit, which is kind of cool that the JTF was as widespread all the way up to Washington D.C. It wasn't just them battling New York.
Yeah, but my first thoughts of the True Sons being ex-JTF was like, we've experienced the JTF in the first game. They're not going to be very scary. If you know what I mean.
This did seem to big them up a bit, didn't it?
They're going to kill us by standing in the way. That's how they're going to kill us.
Well, I mean, they could keep knocking you out of cover, I suppose.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole lore about
How he
Ridgway,
how he got to power.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I mean, it's I don't know, the fact that he's they found out he was abusing his power, wasn't he? And then they found him out and they put him in prison. Then they broke him out from prison. And yeah, he basically become a rebel scum.
I like the brutal element they've put in where he was withholding the medicine from the sick people because he was like, yeah, you're already sick, you're fucked. I want to keep this medicine for myself or my troops. I thought that was pretty fucking brutal,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of, when I was reading it kind of made me cast back to that photo of the concept art from the presentation where it looked like a base of operations that had basically just gone to shit that we talked about last week.
I know which one you mean, yeah, with the contaminated flags that were all ripped and that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like landing in Hudson, but it was completely fucked. And this could be the guy that caused all that to happen. I mean, it's concept art. They might not even be in the game, but I would assume something similar to it would be in it. And it was just the way they were explaining it. I was like, that's kind of cool. if they have that lore in there in the actual game. I want to kind of have like find something like this in the game, even if it's just like we have to read it. It doesn't need to be an audio log. I'm playing Prey at the minute, and there's so much lore in that game, whether it's audio logs, cinematics, and just like notes that you're picking up, very similar to this, and it just gives you small pieces to the bigger picture. So if they've got a lot more lore, as stated in the article, in the Division 2, that's really cool, and I want to see the backstory of like the different factions. I just would have thought we'd have seen or even had a couple of mentions of other factions today.
Yeah, I was hoping for more actual news or news about stuff that we didn't know about, like so other factions, because the True Sons were the faction from the demo, right?
Yeah, which we played at Gamescom.
Yeah, it would have been better to find out stuff that we don't necessarily know. I mean, yeah, we didn't know the lore behind how the True Sons came to be and who the hell this Antoine Ridgway guy was, and that's great. I commend them on giving us more lore, and all the lore whores will be grateful for all the story and stuff we're getting. But yeah, it would have been nice to leak some more information, because the last Intelligence Annex was, you know, all stuff that we didn't know about, wasn't it, with the weapon categories and the restrictions on grenades and stuff. So
I'm hoping this is just like a brief overview of the whole story. Like they'll go into depth what happened, and maybe there might even be cutscenes involving this scenario and why they came and how they came about, because that would be pretty cool.
I think it's kind of cool just having backstory to characters in the game that we're going to play, because I don't feel like there's a lot of that in the Division 1. There's like so many different characters that just you don't know anything about them. Whereas this feels like it's trying to replicate it a little bit.
The only sort of character backstories you got from the first game were, like Rob just said, cutscenes when you like finished with the LMB, or when I forgot her name.
Fail out.
No, the black lady that we kill every 5 minutes.
Well, ain't that some shit?
Yeah, her video. Yeah,
Erased.
That's it. Lorraine Barrett. When you finish her mission and you get the cutscene for her, which is obviously brutal and kills that guy. So I guess cutscenes would make sense in the Division 2, but I mean, if they're going to give you the lore for all the factions and stuff beforehand or within the game itself, you might not need cutscenes.
It does remind me of like The Walking Dead, though, because there's a line in it that says, the True Sons do not think twice about making examples out of people to further ensure obedience. And it just reminds me of The Walking Dead, like somebody like Negan.
Yeah, I almost said that earlier, that the Colonel Ridgway could be Negan.
I guess if you think about it, like I hadn't thought about it before, but The Walking Dead is basically the Division, if you know what I mean. Like that kind of idea of communities trying to survive after something like a pandemic has actually happened.
Yeah.
But obviously in Washington.
Are we assuming the True Sons are like the rioters of the Division 1? So they're like the lowest enemy type. Do you know what I mean? Because you know how when you progress through the game, you fight rioters to begin with, and then the factions get harder as you go along. Assuming that because we had these in the demo, these might be the first enemy that we come across.
I get where your head's at, but the agent you were playing as demo was level 30, wasn't it? So
yeah, but they'd only just become level 30, I would assume. We don't know, I guess. But like in the gameplay trailer, like the stylized one, like someone becomes level 30, don't they?
Yeah.
So it was just an assumption, I guess.
I mean, it could be. The Intelligence Annex bigs them up as being quite a powerful faction, though, doesn't it? So,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm wondering if they're almost a mix between like the rioters and the LMB, because obviously if they are the JTF and what did they say, trained criminals, they're going to have got some weapons from somewhere, aren't they? They're not just going to be walking around with baseball bats again, I would assume.
Yeah, they've got. So, yeah, I suppose they got all the JTF supplies.
Yeah,
that are given to them. Yeah. Okay.
I think also from a game mechanic point of view as well, it does state that you've got to be careful around them, because when you engage with them, they will spread out and come for you at every angle, which means you have to be on the move. And I can remember that from playing the demo.
The demo
was
very obvious.
Yeah, if you get split up with your team, like from your team, you basically get stuck in a situation where you're surrounded and you're going to die very, very quick. So you've got to basically pick them off. And then it says here, if you start picking them off, they become fewer in numbers, so their behavior completely changes and they'll get more desperate and erratic, which is really cool to see in a game where the AI changes like depending on the situation, especially compared to like other AI in other games. Whereas like this is kind of a group mentality that's going to change over time rather than just like a single AI type. Rob, something you said about the 10 different archetypes.
Yeah.
That interested you?
Yeah, because they're all going to have different weak points. And so you're going to have different strategies to take them down. And I'm gonna assume that each faction's going to have these 10 different archetypes, because that tends to happen like in most games. Like you'll have this like the bobs, the heavies, the tanks. Do you know what I mean? The fact that there's 10 is insane.
Does that worry you though? Does that mean...
No, that just means more variety in the gameplay that you're going to be doing.
Well, that's dependent. We don't know how many other factions there are. So there could be only like 2 or 3 other factions where I'm not sure how many factions we have at the minute, but I know there's like 4 or 5,
we don't know. Oh, you mean in the current game?
Yeah, in the current game. So if you've only got 10 archetypes and there's only 2 or 3 factions, then you won't have so much variation. Yeah, if you have 3 or 4, no, if you have like 4 plus with 10 different archetypes, like different factions, then that's a lot of variety.
If you compare that to the first game, though, take the cleaners, for example. Cleaners in the first game, you have the big fat guys, don't you? You have the grenade guys, you have the engineer mechanic type guys, and you have basically the mini versions of the fat guys with the flamethrowers, and then the rushers with the shields. So 5 archetypes within the cleaners. So they've doubled that. So even if you only get 1 less faction, so you've got 3 instead of the 4 that we've got now, that's still, like Rob said earlier, a lot more variety than what you're used to. Yeah, I like it. I think it's a great idea.
That was one thing that stood out to me in the blog as being good.
Plus the fact they're all going to have different weak points, aren't they? Which I think are probably going to stand out a little bit more, perhaps, than they did in the Division 1. Whereas like the Division 1 ones were quite similar across the different archetypes. It was mostly like shoot the tank and they're pretty much going to go down, or it's basically shoot the red bit on the NPC and you're good. Do you know what I mean?
Except the healers. The red bit didn't do anything on the healers.
Well, yeah, apart from the healers.
Stupid healers.
But yeah, it's nice to see medics are back in a faction. They're going to be a pain in the ass for the Division 2, just like, what was it, the LMB medics?
Oh yeah, with their insane healing ability boxes that repaired armor as well as health. Fun.
But yeah, it's a solid read, so definitely go check out the dev blog on the official Division website. I don't know if you guys want to talk about this or not, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. Obviously, we all play several games, not just the Division. Rob, you're playing the D word at the minute.
Dick.
Please don't. Not whilst we can see your camera. How do you feel about toxicity in gaming in general and the Division? And what would you like to see done about it for the future of the Division 2?
Are you talking to me?
Well, either of you.
I don't like it. Toxic people should just be banned.
Take a very stern Rainbow Six type approach to it.
A Rainbow Six Siege approach, yeah.
Yeah.
Valor, yeah.
I agree.
It is quite brutal, some of the stuff that people get away with saying in the Division. Like, if you're playing on PC and you see the chat flying by, there's a lot of... I think if you know the person and stuff like that, that's cool. But if you're just saying that to random people you don't know, it's...
There was a lot of... I'm going to use the word casual because it was just thrown around like it didn't matter. Racism and bigotry in PlayStation 4 chat within the Division. I'm not saying it's exclusive to the Division. I'm not picking on the Division. Please don't take it that way.
No.
So I turned off VoIP for PlayStation many months ago. I've since decided to do the same for any other game that I can play online on my PC because it just happens over there too. So it's not just exclusive to PlayStation.
But that's a shame though.
Yeah, but something about that needs to be done because if it's got to the stage where literally the only way to stop hearing that is to turn off my voice over IP, then people shouldn't be having to make that conscious decision to get away from that sort of bullshit in 2018.
Yeah.
I just kind of disagree with that because the nature of the Dark Zone in Division 1, like, if people use that to bait people into...
Yeah, but it's how you go about baiting someone, isn't it?
And sometimes that can be fun. I mean, we've done it.
Not
abusively, but like we've baited people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. There are ways of baiting people without being a racist or a bigot or a homophobe.
Yeah,
or just a complete dick for no reason.
It's called emoting and then following the person incessantly until they turn around and shoot you.
And you end up dead.
Well, yeah, it doesn't matter though, does it? They went rogue.
Squirrel. No, I just think it's a shame that, it's fucking almost 2019 and I'm still having to turn off proximity chat because I don't want to be called the N word or the F word.
This isn't. You can say them. This isn't.
No, I don't want to say them.
No. I was trying to think. Like, it's a shame that you have to do that, though.
If somebody wants to call me a prick or whatever other swear word you want to use, fine. I'm 34 years old. I can live with that. But
you're a big boy.
Yeah, I'm a big boy. But I know the game is for 18-year-olds, but we know there are a lot of 18-year-old people that play this game that aren't 18 years old. And whilst some of them are the people responsible for what I'm complaining about, not all of them are. So, there needs to be some protection for people that are being given something they shouldn't have by their parents. But likewise, not all 18-year-olds know all these words or want to use all these words or want to hear all these words. So
I think another thing as well is like, you think of games, like especially multiplayer games that you've played in the past, especially with voice chat. Like, I know we didn't meet via voice chat because I think you had it turned off, which would make sense.
Yeah, exactly right. But
like, how many people, Rob, have we met playing other games in multiplayer just by having voice chat on? You've gone into a server, you've played well, you've played as a team, and then you add them as friends, you've got on with them, and that's how like most friendships start out in gaming, just chatting. And the minute you have obviously toxicity in gaming, and then you have to turn off like your VoIP in certain games just so you don't get shit. I think I've turned it off in the Division, to be honest. I turned off the chat as well, but I would have still gone rogue and stuff like that. That wouldn't have bothered me. But I don't think it was necessarily for those reasons. I just don't want to see it constantly on my screen. And I do like the approach that Rainbow Sixes took to it. But then it has got to the point now where I think certain words are now getting banned. You can't like type that have nothing to do with it. But you've got to be like so careful in the world we're in today with what you say, because you could so easily offend someone. So it's like this weird divide. Is it toxic or is it just having a laugh? Do you know what I mean?
Careful, Mike. You might offend someone.
All right, mate.
But like we use the C word within our little group quite regularly. Like me, you, and Rob will call each other the C word on a daily basis.
Yeah, but if most people had that conversation.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I wouldn't do that to you within 2 minutes of meeting you. Like, or in
struggling. What's the C word? Sorry, I'm
cheese.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, yeah.
we try not to say it because your dad beat you to death with a wheel of cheese when you were younger. It's fine.
Yeah.
He's a cheese farmer.
Hi, Mr. Hemsley, by the way.
Rob's like, he's not a cheese farmer. He's a retired cheese farmer.
He's fucking retired, dude.
Yeah. What were you saying? Like, I've completely forgotten.
I can't remember. You put me off.
Yes, I did it.
You cunt.
Success.
Oh, he said it now then. Yeah. But like, if it's okay to throw, like, for me, it's okay to throw those words around if you know that's that person. I've said before, like, if
fucking piece of cheese.
Shut up, cheese. But like, if anybody listened to our conversations or read our conversations, we must sound like we absolutely hate each other. Do you know what I mean? Because like we're always like, shut the fuck up, you know.
The thing is, the words we use them as terms of endearment. So
yeah,
we don't use them appropriately.
But that's fine, because the only people that can hear us do it are us, because we do it in our own private chat. We're not doing it on the server chat, and we're certainly not doing it to strangers. So
we do often stream though, Luke. Just saying.
Yeah, but again, it's not really strangers, is it? Like, the people that generally come into our stream
listen to the people that know
us.
Yeah,
a bunch of idiots. So
cheddar heads.
No, I meant us. We're the bunch of idiots, not them.
No, I meant us as cheddar heads.
Yeah, right, cool. But yeah, I wouldn't. You know, I'm not the most politest person that was ever put on the face of this planet, but I certainly wouldn't talk to people the way that I've been talked to during online gaming. So I don't know why people think it's acceptable over the internet, and it goes as far as Twitter. People will say things to you on Twitter that they would never have the balls to say to you in person.
It's because they're a million miles away.
Yeah, they're all keyboard warriors, aren't they? But
it boils down to the anonymity. You can't. It's like having road rage. Like you don't have any.
It's no good until that person chases you down.
Because no one knows who you are because you're at the other end of the fucking internet and don't matter.
Yeah, I don't. For that matter, I don't really understand road rage either.
Trolls.
But it is a shame if you have to turn off like voice chat and just general chat in games, because like there's been a few times where there's been some funny as hell situations when we've been playing the Division. Like I'm pretty sure, was it some Indian guy was trying to chat Luke up one night? Do you remember that on PlayStation 4? Yeah, you deny it now. He was like, "Oh, Luke, where do you live?"
I wouldn't know, would I? I've got VoIP turned off.
No, I'm pretty sure you did. I can't remember who was in chat. I don't know if it was Boris or Spider-Man, but some dude spent all night trying to freaking chat different people up. And it was funny. And he
was in PlayStation chat though. That wasn't VoIP at all. That was just...
No, I wasn't VoIP. Good point.
Oh, okay.
Just like some random dude.
I know who you mean. Yeah. I remember that. But then didn't I pretend to go off mic so he started chatting you up instead, Mike?
I think he tried and I was like, no. And then I can't remember what he said, but he was going about something. He was on about, what was he? Funny enough, I think he might have been going on about Red Dead Redemption.
I
seems to remember it was either Red Dead Redemption or GTA 5. He kept going on about how it was the best game in the world. I was like, nope, it's the worst. Just to wind him up, he was getting so arsey about it. So maybe I'm the worst culprit of them all.
Yeah, what I like.
That kind of, jokery or banter or whatever you want to call it is fine. You're not making it personal. It's just you're having a laugh. Nowadays, it just seems to be personal attack after personal attack after personal attack, and it's got nothing to do with the game at all. It's just people being absolute douchebags for absolutely no reason at all, just because they're playing online and perhaps they're bored with the game they're playing, but they've got nothing else better to do.
But then, does the Dark Zone associate with those people? That is the difficult thing about it, isn't it?
I mean,
it's the type of game mode it is, isn't it?
Maybe, but that kind of attitude is rife in like Call of Duty games as well, isn't it? Which is, I know it's PvP, but it's not the Dark Zone, is it?
All right, compared to Dark Souls PvP, right? You can go on Dark Souls, 2 different games, right? Actually, it's not. So shut up. Invade each other.
Game.
Right? So some random player joins your game whilst you're doing like a mission or whatever, right? And they both freaking like bow before they start PvPing. That's completely different to the Division's PvP. Could you imagine if Division PvP was like you both going like and flag or bow or curtsy before you freaking doing it?
You're saying everyone that plays Dark Souls is Japanese, right?
No, where did that come from?
Because they bow. I'm being really racist right now.
I think we have to have a talk after this podcast.
Can I turn off my podcast chat so I don't have to listen to Rob right now?
Does Brad play Dark Souls?
Oh my god.
He sucks at it.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take a piss out of him tomorrow.
Yeah. I just wondered if it was more to do with the game that pulls those sort of people in, or if it's just gaming in general. Because I know it takes place in other games. I know it does, but the Dark Zone is brutal for it, and until we get more details of how obviously the going rogue system is going to work in the Division 2, it could be just as toxic.
I feel
as
like
it
it's
is in
more
the
of a
first one.
problem on console than it would be on PC.
Yeah, like I can see that.
Purely because consoles, anyone can own a console because they're quite affordable. But being able to build a PC,
You can build
it. Both smiling at me. Build a PC or buy a PC. It's not exactly cheap to do, and then to run the games we play well enough to be able to be competitive and talk shit and then kill you. Do you know what I mean?
What you're saying is it's a lot of money to spend on playing on PC
for like a 12-year-old to do and then talk shit at you.
Depends who said 12-year-olds' parents are, I suppose, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, good point. Good point.
How many 12-year-olds do you know that are earning a couple of grand a month to buy their own PC, Rob?
Yeah. 0.
How many 12-year-olds do you know?
Yeah.
1. And I'm selling my old laptop that can run the Division.
That is just terrible. Pawning him out. Right. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, so we've got some questions. One from Tubby and one from @CMasterGMT. First one says, from Tubby, I'd like to know what you guys feel should be the length of time between each official Division 2 info drop, and would it be better to have fixed dates or keep it randomish like it is at the minute? So I did say at the start of the show, is too much news a good thing or a bad thing? I know we discussed very briefly last week.
But he's not talking about how the quality, the quantity. He's talking about like a
I know. I don't need the question explaining. I'm just saying, going back to what I said at the beginning of the show. We had a bit of feedback.
Don't be a piece of cheese, right?
You're such a fuck. But it was basically like, especially in our Discord, a lot of people in our Discord don't want to hear everything, do they? Like, you don't want to hear everything. I don't want to hear everything. I don't want to have everything ruined. Because obviously doing something that is content creating, it's difficult not to see certain things, but I'm trying not to let it skew my opinion of the final product.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
That's the problem with any sequel though, right? Whether it's film, game, album.
Setting up expectations.
You've got pre-existing expectations.
Well, I mean, you say film, like, perfect example is like Deadpool. Deadpool is such a smash hit film because nobody had seen anything like that before. Yet the sequel is a good film, but it's nothing like the first one. It doesn't hold the same bar as it because no one's seen it before. And that's just one example, you know. I kind of feel like the Division's going to be different though. From what I've seen, the Division's going to be different. I don't know. Maybe I'm buying into it too much. I don't know.
Yeah, I disagree.
Do you think the Division 2 is going to be better or worse than the Division 1?
I don't know. I just hope it's on par. I'm lowering my expectations because I want to play the game and enjoy it. So I don't want to put like...
You're going to do what you did with Suicide Squad, right?
I'm just going to like go into it thinking...
It's a game.
It's a game. That's it. I've bought it. I've pre-ordered it. I've paid for it. I'm definitely going to play it. Kind of have to because do a podcast.
Well, you don't have to, dude. Yeah. We'll just tell you about it if you want.
All right. I'll get a refund then, shall I?
Can you get a refund?
Get your refund and pay for some more Destiny 2 downloads.
Yeah. Get those sweet microtransactions.
Get some more silver.
Well, you're a fucking pirate.
But I feel like we're not really answering the question. He asks like fixed dates or random news. I feel like they might bring a roadmap out at some point, but it won't be anytime soon.
Okay, let's be honest though. They've got a roadmap. We just haven't seen it.
All right, mate.
Well, they have. If you can put a plan together for each month, they must have an idea of what is rolling out over the next 6 months as marketing.
No, I can. Yeah, okay, I can probably agree with that just because of what they've done.
I know you don't like to agree with me, but
shut up. Considering what they've done with changing the date of the Shield this week, that's probably got a long-term reason for that.
Yeah.
What, something better than the Shield is going to be announced?
No, we don't know. I don't want to speculate on why they've changed it. I just think there's a good reason for them doing it.
I agree. My answer to Tubby would be I would prefer them to have fixed dates, but I don't want them to fix the details of what the information is going to be. So we've got no expectations about what the info drop's going to be. Like me today, personally, I was a little bit disappointed about the content of the Intelligence Annex, just because it was kind of stuff that we already knew. Like the True Sons is not new to us. We played it in the demo. It was all over.
There are some tidbits in there that is new, but
some of the information we got, yes, it expands on what we already knew. But the basis of the information we got was something we already knew. You know, it's the True Sons faction. We already knew they were in the game. Like you said earlier, Mike, I was hopeful that it was one of the new factions that Julian hinted to on Ubi Day. But yeah, having fixed dates I think would be the better way forward, because we know everybody's then on a countdown for, ooh, new news in a couple of weeks. Great, awesome.
Just going back to the devlog a little, just quickly, do you not feel that's very Division, like the way they've done it, the whole story is very call back to the first game. Like it's very similar to what we've had before.
Yeah. This is one of the things when, like, what is it? The first line when they start going on about JTF. There's literally like your first throwback at that point. it's shown that the worlds are connected. It is the same world,
But they've moved on.
but it makes you think though that maybe the especially like today's news, it's not really news. It's an article giving more like behind the scenes information on like one of the factions that is upcoming.
Yeah, but you've
And
got
maybe it's not for us. It's more for the like casual people that are going to go on the Division website and go, oh, that's cool.
You've got to look a little bit deeper than that. Like Ridgeway's going to be a boss, right? You know that now.
Yes,
True, I agree.
Like
he could be like one of the people that we're hunting down in the Division 2. But I'm hoping it's one of these things that it's not like there's one mission and he's at the end like we have at the minute with like a couple of them.
Going along with what Rob just said, digging deeper, you could like one of the side missions, like that we got to play in the demo where you're taking over the airplane and securing that area of the map. You can almost pretty much guarantee that one of the areas of the map we have to take back from the True Sons is going to be like a medicine cache or medicine supply area or something like that, because obviously that was in the lore within this Intelligence Annex as well. Do you not agree?
No, I was just thinking when you're about one of the things in the mission that we haven't even seen a mission.
Well,
We haven't even played a mission.
The side mission that we played then. Sorry, mission was perhaps the wrong terminology.
No. You're right, but it was.
I don't think it was even a side
It's
mission.
the open world objective that
Yeah.
reminds me of the thing off Mass Effect 3, where you have to keep going back in and clearing the enemies out, which is something we've said about before, which is in Westside Pierce. But yeah, I like how they have it. Should there be a roadmap? I think there already is. We just don't know what it is. I think they must have like a rough estimate of what is going to be announced over certain dates, but we've got a rough idea that Dark Zone stuff is coming in December. I know we're all looking forward to that. We don't know what's coming next month. I'm assuming there's going to be one next month, but how they've progressed so far. Maybe it's more factions. Maybe this is just the start of it. But I suppose the other thing is like, how much more information do we need when we already know what the division is?
Has it been a month since the last devlog?
Yeah, I think it was September 27th.
Okay.
I think. Luke's looking perplexed.
No.
Next question.
Second question comes from Seamaster GMT. Says, bombshell jackets frequently talked about pretty much what we've talked about. Talked about the fact Massive should probably start talking expectations players should have for Division 2 to avoid overhyped rumors and avoid disappointment that followed. Do you guys agree? Do you feel we've answered that?
I think we just answered that in our.
Do you think they should start
stealthy
talking
way.
about expectations? No.
No.
I don't think they're going to like temper expectations because they want to sell the game. Being honest.
Yeah, I read Seamaster's question. I think he posted it in Discord yesterday. I might be wrong on that, but I definitely read this question before. And I personally think it's still a little bit too early. If they give too much information too early and they still want to then change something, it's like, 5 months till the game comes out still? So we already know they're changing stuff on the fly because since the demo came out, they've added the new weapon category in, which Thailander talked about in the State of the Game recently. So, they're still changing fairly important details of the game. So to start, like what Mike said, tempering expectations already seems a little bit too early for me. I think that sort of stuff will come after Christmas.
After March the 19th.
When the game's out. Final question or feedback is from Bron Jones from YouTube. He says, great content and everyone's sober. He does say, if anyone is ever on Xbox, give me a shout and we can discuss building diversity and potential gear sets. So he did join us over on our Discord and he left something in our after show talk. And he says, I think Division 2 will be okay on launch. The fuck-ups will be outweighed by the amount of content and story. They've had 3 years to prepare this game and look carefully at how Division 1 was managed. It was a train wreck in some patches. Completely agree. They also know what other developers have done wrong in the last 6 months with their games. E.g., we're not politicizing our games. They're sending all the right signals. The quality of the DZ info in December will be the big decider on pre-orders. I've already forked out £92 on a pre-order, and I've put my money where my mouth is. I have a pretty good feeling about this game. From Snake762 on the Discord. Thank you very much for your feedback, dude.
Well said, dude.
Yeah, agreed.
I completely agree. Yeah, that's the best place that the Division is in at the minute, is the fact that they've had 3 years to prepare, and they can look to see what has failed over that time as well. Destiny being one of them.
Disagree.
But they can also look.
They made it good again, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Till next time. Fuck you. I'm messing, dude. But it is, like, you can look at Star Wars Battlefront. I'm really worried about microtransactions in the Division 2. To say we weren't supposed to get microtransactions in the Division 1. And I mean, it paid for 1.8, so I think
they'll almost certainly be there. You're getting, what do they call them, episodes for free and all the content for free. I mean, yes, they've announced there's going to be the year pass or whatever it's called.
Sadly, that's the model nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah, they're not going to break away from that. It's just whether they're done the right way or the horrible underage gambling way. But I think they'll have learned lessons from other games for that. And if they haven't, they deserve the arse ripping that they're going to get for it, to be fair.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think one quick thing, you just talk about episodes. I would like to see, before the release of the Division 2, I don't think it's going to happen at all, but them to go into some detail about what is going to be released under DLC and episodes and season passes for the Division 2 in, if needs be, State of the Game or a Division Annex blog.
That won't happen, dude.
But it won't happen. I'd like to see them do that to give, like, the community and everyone else a bit of faith of what they're kind of getting themselves into. It doesn't have to be everything, but...
Do you honestly not think that's going to happen then, either of you?
No, I don't think game development works that way.
I honestly thought they would release it. I mean, last minute, but I thought they would do... Let's just look at what Battlefield 5 announced yesterday. They told you what all 3 of their DLCs were going to be called and the general details of what those DLCs were going to contain, including the fact that the Battle Royale wasn't coming out until the final of those 3 DLCs, which probably pissed off quite a lot of people, me included. So I expected Division 2 to do something very similar. And like Battlefield 5 is due out next month. So February time for Division 2 would be when you sort of get that information, would be my assumption. Obviously you two don't agree, but...
Well, I'm hoping it happens. I just don't know if we'll see it early enough before the release of the game.
Compare a game like Battlefield to the Division.
I think the only reason we might is because if Endgame has been thought about first, you would think that would be what they've been working on for a long time as well.
But do they not tell you what you're getting with Destiny though, Rob? They give you a roadmap. When Destiny 2 launched, you had a roadmap for when the raid was coming and when the first DLC was coming and that sort of shit, didn't you?
But that was when it was launched. That was not prior. The only thing they knew is that they had 2 DLCs and what the name of them were. That was it.
Well, not even that. Pictures. That's it.
Right, okay. So you got the roadmap once the game was out, not before?
Yeah.
Right,
I'm pretty sure that was literally like the release date, wasn't it?
Forsaken was pretty much the 1.4 of Destiny 2. Like it's...
Yeah, I wasn't including Forsaken because obviously they did a lot of Forsaken once they realised how pissed off a lot of their customers were.
They've over the last month or two they've been doing sort of, they weren't called ETFs, but there's people doing
summits.
Going to Bungie and looking what's happening in the future and giving their opinions
Fair
on
enough.
like people that have played the game professionally, like streamers and YouTubers and stuff.
I probably should have paid a bit more attention to Destiny 2, how they did theirs then, because I was just thinking, obviously, with Division 2 having raids in it, and then already categorically saying they're not going to be part of the beta, there's going to need to be that rollout of content on release of like this raid's coming, and then maybe this raid's coming a couple of months down the line, etc., etc. But yeah, if the Destiny 2 model is the model they seem to be following closely, then perhaps I'm wrong, and they're not going to release any of that information till launch. So
We'll get
You might be
teasers at the most.
Cool. Thank you to everyone who sent in questions this week. That's the show. Robert, where can the listeners find us, guys?
You can find us over at SITREP Radio on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as our personal accounts. Send any questions or feedback for the show to sitradiopod@gmail.com, or you can find us on the Discord. The link will be in the show notes. We want to hear your thoughts on the news and topics we cover in the show, so please leave them in those places. Thank you. Luke?
please leave a review of the show using the podcast app of your choice. We really do enjoy reading all of them. The feedback is excellent, and at the end of the day, it does actually help other people to find our show. If you are brave enough to listen all the way to the very end of this show, you will hear all the juicy details about the other awesome shows that are available on the Mash Those Buttons network. Thank you!
We do live stream as often as we can, so if you're interested in dropping by and chatting with us whilst we play The Division and some other games, you can find us all over at twitch.tv/SITREP Radio. We have been SITREP Radio. Thank you very much for listening, and we will catch you in the next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for choosing a Mash Those Buttons podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you'd like to subscribe to one of our shows, you can find us on multiple podcast platforms across iOS and Android. Just search for the show on a podcatcher like Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts and hit subscribe. If you can't find us on your favorite podcast platform of choice, just go right to the mashthosebuttons.com website, grab the RSS feed, and put it into your podcatcher of choice. If you want to check out some other podcasts you may enjoy, you should check out mashthosebuttons.com/shows. For World of Warcraft fans, we have two podcasts, WoW Talk, which is our news and community podcast, and The Torn and the Goblin, which is our lore and story podcast. If you enjoy Overwatch, make sure to check out Watchpoint Radio to keep up with the latest on Overwatch and its community. If you enjoy fighting games, make sure you check out Double Tap for the latest in the FGC. If you're a fan of The Division or looking forward to The Division 2, make sure you check out SITREP Radio. If you want to keep up with the latest at Mash Those Buttons, you can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/mtbsite, facebook.com/mashthosebuttons, and youtube.com/mashthosebuttons. We'd also like to have you join our Discord community, so just go to discord.me/mashthosebuttons and join us for a chat. Once again, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. You're listening to a Mash Those Buttons podcast. Visit mashthosebuttons.com for a full podcast schedule.
Cargo secured. Extraction